The quiet hum of space was disturbed only by the faint sound of distant stars twinkling in the vastness. It was a peaceful night on Earth, the kind of night where the world's inhabitants went about their business, unaware of the storm brewing in the cosmos. But above Earth, things were far from calm. In the cold expanse of space, a massive alien fleet hovered, its ships cloaked and hidden from Earth's radar. The fleet, composed of sleek, menacing vessels, moved with terrifying precision. These were not just any invaders, they were part of a technologically superior species from a distant galaxy, prepared to conquer and destroy anything in their path. Their goal: Earth. The fleet's commander, a ruthless alien named Vraxar, stood aboard the lead ship, staring down at the blue and green planet below. His alien eyes glowed with an unsettling light, reflecting the cold, calculated decision he was about to make. His species had faced many challenges across the universe, but Earth, this small, insignificant planet, was not something they feared. Their scanners had analyzed it thoroughly. The results were clear. Earth was weak, primitive, and unprepared for the technological might of the alien invaders. Vraxar's fingers hovered over a large, glowing button. The fleet was cloaked, undetectable to human eyes, and positioned perfectly to strike. The time for subtlety had passed. The order was clear. The humans didn't even know they were in danger yet. "Prepare to fire," Vraxar ordered coldly. The fleet moved into position. Their advanced targeting systems locked onto Earth's major cities, and a series of devastating laser beams began to form within the ship's enormous weapons. One by one, the laser blasts were unleashed, striking Earth's capital cities, flattening buildings, causing widespread panic, and triggering alarms in every corner of the planet. Cities like New York, Tokyo, and London were hit first. Towering skyscrapers crumbled into dust, leaving only the smoke and fire to mark the places where civilization had once stood. The lasers were so precise, they obliterated entire areas, as if the very essence of humanity was being erased. For the aliens, this was an easy victory, a clean strike meant to cripple Earth's defenses in one fell swoop. But there was something strange happening on Earth. The alien ships watched, expecting mass panic, chaos, and screams of terror as the world's inhabitants scrambled to find safety. But instead, something entirely unexpected occurred. The humans, despite the destruction raining down on them, weren't running for cover. They weren't screaming in fear. Instead, their responses were eerily calm. The alien commanders looked at their monitors in confusion. Earth's cities were in ruins, yet humanity wasn't reacting the way they had predicted. There was something odd about the pattern of the attacks. They watched as the human military seemed to be moving slowly, almost sluggishly, without much resistance. It was as if they weren't even trying to defend their world. Then came the interference. The aliens' communication channels were suddenly filled with strange static. They couldn't make sense of it at first, but it was enough to send a chill through the crew of the lead ship. Something was wrong. In a dark corner of Earth, deep underground in a secret military bunker, Colonel Bonner sat staring at the flashing screens in disbelief. The signal from the alien fleet was clear. The attack had begun. He and his team had been preparing for something like this for years. No one had believed the threat was real, not until now. But Bonner knew something that the aliens didn't. Earth had been quietly preparing for this moment for years, and the world was about to show just how far its technology had come. Back in space, the fleet commander, Vraxar, grew frustrated. He had expected Earth's forces to be destroyed with minimal effort, but something was making their targeting systems malfunction. It wasn't just the interference. It was like the very fabric of space itself was warping. Their cloaking devices flickered, revealing portions of their ships to the humans on Earth. The aliens couldn't understand why their advanced technology was failing them. Then the most unexpected thing happened. A strange signal, unlike any the aliens had encountered before, pierced through the static. It was coming from Earth. Vraxar's eyes widened in surprise. It wasn't just noise. It was a message, a challenge. "This is Earth," the message crackled. "You've made a grave mistake." For a moment, the crew fell silent, trying to make sense of what they had just heard. How could this be? Earth had no means of communication with them. And yet, there it was. A challenge, an unexpected warning. The message continued, but it was broken, distorted, and barely legible. It wasn't a message of surrender or fear. It was a declaration. The humans weren't as helpless as they seemed. The aliens had underestimated them. Vraxar stood motionless in front of the communication screen, his mind racing. He had prepared for a quick and easy attack, but now the situation was taking a strange turn. The aliens had never encountered a species that responded this way. They were used to worlds cowering before them, begging for mercy, but not this world. "What is this?" Vraxar shouted, his voice trembling with a rare feeling. Uncertainty. His fingers hovered over the fleet's command console, unsure of what to do next. But even as the confusion mounted, his instincts told him to press forward. He had to finish what had been started. Earth was weak. It had to be. The humans may have shown some resistance, but they were still no match for the might of his fleet. Vraxar gave the command to continue the bombardment. However, something within him told him this was not the usual conquest. He couldn't shake the feeling that Earth had more to offer than it seemed. The anomalies were increasing, each one signaling that the human race might have more tricks up their sleeves than he had ever imagined. The fleet commander's resolve hardened, and he issued his final command. "Continue the attack. We will break them. They will understand their place in the galaxy." But deep down, Vraxar couldn't shake the growing sense of doubt. The humans weren't acting like the weak, defenseless species they had assumed. Earth had shown something that no other conquered world had: defiance. As the alien ships loomed ominously over Earth, it was clear that this battle would not be as easy as the invaders had thought. The storm was just beginning, and Earth was about to reveal its true strength. As the alien fleet continued its assault from above, something beneath the surface of Earth was stirring. While the rest of the planet was caught off guard by the sudden attack, there were those who had long suspected that the peace they had known might be an illusion. For decades, Earth's leaders and military strategists had quietly worked in the shadows, preparing for a day just like this one. They had known the invaders might come, and they had made sure humanity would not be caught unaware. In the heart of a hidden underground bunker, Colonel Bonner sat, his fingers dancing across the control panels in front of him. He was tall, with dark brown hair and sharp features that reflected the years of experience and wisdom he had gained in the line of duty. As a strategic genius, Bonner had been tasked with leading Earth's most secret and advanced defense systems. The rest of the world thought they were powerless, but Bonner knew the truth. Humanity had been preparing for this day, building weapons, creating technology, and training their soldiers for a war that had not yet come, but now it had. As Earth's cities burned, Bonner's mind raced. His people were resilient, resourceful, and determined. He had seen it in the past, from the way humans adapted to the harshest conditions to the way they fought back against overwhelming odds. Now, Earth would show the invaders just what humanity was capable of. Without warning, the hidden defense systems beneath Earth's surface came to life. Massive underground bunkers, buried deep in the Earth's crust, activated one by one. Satellite arrays that had been dormant for years came online, their advanced sensors scanning the skies for the alien invaders. The weapons, too, silent but deadly, were ready for action. EMP bombs, designed to disable electronics, and energy-based weapons, capable of taking down even the most powerful of shields, were now at Earth's disposal. The first wave of counterattacks came in a flash. EMP bombs exploded in the atmosphere, sending shockwaves through the alien fleet. The invaders' highly advanced communication systems sputtered and fizzled, their shields flickering and temporarily failing. Earth's attacks were disorienting, catching the aliens off guard. For a moment, the alien fleet found itself reeling, unable to comprehend the sudden turn of events. Their cloaking devices, once perfect, were now malfunctioning, and their ships began to falter in the midst of the chaos. As the EMP blasts surged through the alien fleet, a wave of energy weapons followed. Earth's satellites, capable of targeting even the most distant objects in space, fired beams of concentrated energy at the alien ships. The beams collided with their shields, sending ripples of energy through the alien vessels, destabilizing their systems. For the first time since the attack had begun, the alien fleet began to feel the weight of resistance. The aliens had expected Earth's military to be outmatched by their superior technology. But what they didn't count on was Earth's resourcefulness. The humans had been living in the shadow of the threat for years, adapting their strategies, improving their technology, and most importantly, learning how to fight dirty. The alien fleet's shields were incredibly powerful, but they weren't invincible. Despite their superior technology, the aliens had not anticipated the guerrilla tactics of Earth's military. Earth's soldiers, though technologically behind, had learned to fight with a cunning and ferocity that was unmatched. They didn't fight with the precision of machines. They fought with the raw, unpredictable chaos of a species desperate to survive. In the midst of the battle, Colonel Bonner's face remained calm and focused. He knew that every moment counted. The aliens had underestimated Earth, but now they were realizing that the humans had a hidden strength. The humans had one thing that the aliens didn't: determination. The will to fight, to survive, to protect what was theirs. And it was that will that would carry them through this war. Bonner had long suspected that the alien fleet's shields, though strong, could not withstand prolonged, unpredictable attacks. Their advanced technology was impressive, but it wasn't infallible. Earth's energy weapons, combined with their guerrilla tactics, were starting to take their toll. The first few alien ships that had been hit by the energy weapons were beginning to lose power. Some of them fell back, retreating to regroup, while others were forced to make emergency repairs. As the battle raged on, the aliens began to falter. Their once impenetrable shields were no longer able to withstand the constant bombardment. Alien commanders scrambled to adjust their strategies, but it was clear that they had underestimated the humans' capacity for resistance. Despite their superior technology, the aliens found themselves on the defensive. Earth's counterattacks were relentless, and the tide of battle had begun to shift. However, despite the damage they were taking, the alien fleet wasn't ready to give up just yet. They were still a formidable force, and their commanders refused to accept that Earth could truly pose a threat to their superiority. They had seen species like Earth before, weak, fragile creatures that had crumbled beneath their power. Why would this time be any different? The alien fleet, though beginning to show signs of wear, still had the upper hand in terms of raw firepower. They were determined to break Earth's resistance and finish the job. They had begun their invasion with the belief that the humans would fold quickly, that Earth would crumble beneath their might. But now, as their ships flickered and their sensors malfunctioned, they were starting to question everything they thought they knew about humanity. For the humans, though, this was just the beginning. The first wave of counterattacks had bought them time, but Bonner knew that the real fight was still ahead. Earth had shown its strength, but it was only a matter of time before the aliens regrouped and adjusted their tactics. The battle had only just begun, and both sides were realizing that the war for Earth was not going to be won easily. As the alien fleet began to retreat and regroup, Bonner's eyes narrowed. He had been waiting for this moment, the moment when humanity's hidden power was unleashed. But now, the true test of Earth's strength would come. Would the aliens relent, or would they push forward, determined to destroy humanity once and for all? The next wave of the battle was on the horizon, and Colonel Bonner was ready. The battle in Earth's skies raged on, with each passing moment revealing more about the strength and unpredictability of humanity. What the aliens had initially thought would be a simple conquest was turning into something they could barely comprehend. From their first laser strike to the relentless counterattacks by Earth's military, Everything was unfolding far differently than their commanders had expected. The aliens had arrived confident in their superior technology, but now they were facing a much more formidable foe than they had ever imagined. The alien fleet had been struck hard. Their ships were damaged, their sensors malfunctioning, and their shields struggling to withstand the constant barrage from Earth. They had been forced to adapt quickly, and despite their advanced technology, they were beginning to question their superiority. This wasn't the type of conflict they were accustomed to. The humans weren't folding, as the aliens had expected. Instead, they were fighting back with an unrelenting force, throwing everything they had at the invaders. Advanced drones, robotic soldiers, electromagnetic cannons. Earth's ingenuity was on full display. Alien commanders, who had once sneered at humanity's technological limitations, now found themselves in a desperate scramble to counter the unpredictable nature of Earth's forces. The humans were not relying on traditional tactics. They were thinking outside the box. Using alien technology that Earth scientists had reverse-engineered, humanity had developed weapons and tools that the aliens could never have anticipated. The situation was rapidly becoming a nightmare for the invaders. On the ground, the battle was even more chaotic. Earth's military personnel, who had trained for years in secret, unleashed weapons they had kept hidden from the rest of the world. Cloaking devices, designed to make human soldiers invisible to enemy sensors, were activated, allowing small squads to infiltrate alien positions. Eye-controlled defense bots, once thought to be experimental, joined the fray, adding another layer of unpredictability to the conflict. Earth had turned the tide with these advanced technologies, and the alien fleet struggled to keep up. The atmosphere above Earth was filled with explosions, the bright lights of lasers, and the shadowy forms of cloaked soldiers moving in and out of sight. Earth's weaponry was far from perfect, but it was enough. Enough to challenge the might of the alien fleet, enough to make the invaders reconsider their strategy. In the air, the sky was alive with drones, flying at impossible speeds and firing at targets that were hard to see, even for the most advanced sensors. The ground was no less intense, as soldiers and robots clashed with alien forces, their weapons lighting up the night with every strike. Colonel Bonner stood at the front of the battlefield, his mind focused on the chaos unfolding around him. The emotions that surged through him were overwhelming. His soldiers were fighting bravely, but with every loss, Bonner's resolve grew stronger. It was no longer just about defending Earth. It was about avenging the lives lost in the fight for survival. The death of his close friend, Captain Ramirez, hit him harder than he had expected. Ramirez had been a brother to him, someone he had trusted implicitly. The loss was personal, and it fueled Bonner's determination to protect what remained of Earth's population. With each new wave of alien forces, Bonner felt a sense of loss. Ramirez's absence was a constant reminder of the stakes, and as more soldiers fell, Bonner's heart grew heavier. He knew that every loss was a blow, not just to their forces, but to the spirit of humanity. But there was no time to grieve. The battle was far from over, and the aliens were still determined to crush Earth beneath their heels. Yet, with every death, Bonner found his focus narrowing, his purpose becoming clearer. He wasn't just fighting to survive. He was fighting for the future of humanity, and he would not let it fall. The battle intensified as both sides threw everything they had at each other. The humans' guerrilla tactics and advanced technology continued to surprise the aliens, but they had their own tricks up their sleeves. The alien fleet began to adapt, using their advanced AI to coordinate their attacks. However, the more the aliens adapted, the more the humans adapted in return. Colonel Bonner watched as his forces struggled to hold the line, but he knew that they were not yet out of the fight. Earth had always been resilient. The aliens hadn't fully realized just how much. Just when it seemed like the humans might have a chance to turn the tide, the alien commanders unveiled their trump card. A massive warship, far larger than anything the humans had faced, appeared from the depths of space. This was no ordinary vessel. It was a weapon of unparalleled destruction. brimming with AI-controlled fighters ready to descend upon Earth's forces. The warship's surface was covered in dark, imposing armor, and its engines burned with a furious light. It was clear that this warship was designed to end the battle, to crush humanity once and for all. The aliens watched as their final weapon moved into position. The warship's AI, cold and calculating, began to deploy swarms of fighters, each one as deadly as the last. These fighters were faster, more precise, and deadlier than any that had come before. They were controlled by an intelligence that was far beyond the capabilities of human forces, and they had one mission: annihilate every last human soldier and defend the alien fleet's supremacy. As the warship's fighters launched into the fray, Bonner knew that this was their final test, the last chance for humanity to show its strength, to prove that even against overwhelming odds, they would not be defeated. The AI-controlled fighters moved in perfect formation, an impenetrable wave of destruction headed straight for Earth's remaining defenses. Bonner's mind raced as he calculated the best course of action. This was it. If they didn't strike fast, if they didn't push back now, Earth would fall. But he couldn't do it alone. He knew that this would be the most difficult fight they had ever faced, and yet there was a flicker of hope within him. Humanity had shown its resilience time and time again. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for the future of the planet, for every man, woman, and child who had ever lived on Earth. The tension in the air was palpable. As Bonner prepared for the battle ahead, the feeling of loss lingered, but it was joined by something stronger, an unwavering determination. He would not let the aliens win. Not while there was still breath in his lungs. The battle was about to reach its peak, and Bonner, along with the rest of humanity, would face the alien threat head-on. The fate of Earth rested in their hands. The final battle had begun. The massive alien warship hovered above Earth, casting a long shadow over the planet. It was an imposing presence, sleek, dark, and covered in high-tech armor that gleamed like a metallic beast. Its size alone made it seem unstoppable, and yet it was Earth's last chance. The alien fleet had been dealt serious blows, but this warship, this ultimate weapon, threatened to end the fight once and for all. Earth's response was immediate. The orbital defense satellites, once thought to be obsolete relics of a bygone era, activated with a precision and power no one had expected. Their weapons fired massive beams of energy into the heart of the alien warship. Space exploded with brilliant flashes of light, weaponized beams colliding with the alien ship's hull, sending ripples of destruction across the cold expanse of space. For a moment, it seemed like the warship might finally fall. The explosions were deafening, a spectacle of fire and light against the infinite backdrop of the cosmos. But the warship's shields held firm. The aliens had anticipated this, and despite the impressive barrage, their ship remained unscathed. The humans, however, were not disheartened. They knew that this was their last chance, their final stand to save Earth and protect everything they loved. Colonel Bonner, determined as ever, led the charge. He knew that while Earth's weapons could delay the alien forces, the real battle would be fought inside the warship itself. The true challenge lay in getting to the heart of the ship, to its central core, and disabling its control systems. Bonner's team was made up of the best Earth had to offer. These were soldiers and scientists, engineers and tacticians, each one hand-picked for their skills and ingenuity. As the warship loomed above them, they began their assault, boarding one of Earth's last remaining stealth ships. The ship cut through the atmosphere, cloaking itself to avoid detection. They flew under the radar, evading the alien defenses until they were within striking distance. The moment they landed, chaos erupted. Alien soldiers, towering and monstrous, rushed to defend their ship. The humans had no choice but to engage in hand-to-hand combat. The air was filled with the sound of clashing metal, the shrieks of alien fighters, and the thudding of boots against the cold, metallic floors of the warship. Bonner led his team with precision, striking fast and hard, incapacitating enemy soldiers with well-placed blows. Each victory was hard-earned. The aliens were strong, their combat skills honed for millennia of war. But Earth's soldiers were relentless. They fought with a ferocity that surprised even the most battle-hardened of their alien foes. The action was fast and brutal. Humans and aliens collided in violent, close-quarters combat. Bonner's team used every advantage they could find, from improvised weapons to repurposed alien tech. One soldier used a stolen alien blade to cut through the armor of an enemy, while another deployed an EMP grenade that temporarily disabled a group of alien robots. Every move was calculated, every action designed to give them an edge, but the odds were always against them. There were narrow escapes as the humans ducked behind corners to avoid the overwhelming alien firepower. There were ambushes, moments when it seemed like all hope was lost, but each time, Bonner and his team fought back, pushing forward through the maze-like corridors of the warship. They fought for Earth, for their families, for every life that was depending on their success. Every battle wound, every loss was a reminder of what they stood to lose, but also a reminder of why they had to win. The warship's eye, once their greatest ally, now became the humans' most formidable foe. As the team made their way deeper into the heart of the ship, the AI seemed to anticipate every move they made. It was almost as if the warship itself was alive, its digital brain coordinating the alien forces with flawless precision. Yet the humans pressed on. They had one advantage that the aliens had underestimated: Earth's relentless ingenuity. Using newly developed tech, the team managed to infiltrate the warship's core. They found the central control room, a massive chamber filled with rows of alien computers and holographic displays. The room pulsed with energy, the hum of machinery filling the air. The heart of the ship, its central AI core, was protected by layers of advanced security systems and alien soldiers. But Bonner's team had trained for this moment, and they weren't going to stop now. The team worked quickly, planting explosives at key points in the core and setting up a series of electromagnetic pulses to disable the ship's defenses. Time was running out. Every second felt like an eternity, the weight of the mission pressing down on them. Bonner's mind raced as he coordinated his team, keeping them calm as the countdown to destruction began. The AI, now aware of the threat, began to launch a counteroffensive. The room erupted in chaos, with blasts of energy flying in all directions. Alien soldiers surged forward, determined to protect their ship, but Bonner's team was ready. They fought with a single-minded focus, pushing back the invaders and completing their task. The countdown to the warship's destruction had begun. Seconds ticked away, each one bringing them closer to the moment of explosion that could end everything. The AI's final attempt to stop them came too late. Bonner's team had disabled the core, and with it, the warship's ability to function. The entire vessel began to shake, its systems going into meltdown. The countdown reached its final moments. In those last few seconds, Bonner and his team made their escape. They ran through the corridors, evading the final onslaught from the alien soldiers, pushing themselves to their limits. With every step, the ship trembled more violently, as though it was fighting to hold itself together. The team burst out into the open, jumping into their waiting transport ship just as the warship's final explosion detonated behind them. The shockwave from the blast sent a ripple through space, visible even from Earth's surface. The massive warship, once a symbol of the aliens' power, was reduced to a cloud of debris and burning fragments. The battle had reached its peak, and for the first time, it seemed like Earth might actually win. As the team watched from the safety of their ship, the alien fleet began to retreat. Their greatest weapon had been destroyed, and the humans had shown them that they were not so easily defeated. The alien forces began to scatter, their ships fleeing from the planet that had refused to submit. Earth had stood its ground, fought back with everything it had, and emerged victorious. The retreat of the alien fleet was a victory like no other. Earth had proven that even against overwhelming odds, Even in the face of the most advanced technology the universe had to offer, humanity could prevail. The aliens had underestimated them, and now they were learning that the humans were not a species to be ignored. Bonner and his team, bruised and battered, looked out at the stars, knowing that this was just the beginning. The victory was theirs, but the fight was far from over. The universe had learned a valuable lesson: never underestimate humanity. The unstoppable tide of Earth's resistance had only just begun, and the aliens had made a grave mistake in thinking they could conquer this world. Earth had proven its strength, its resilience, and its determination to protect everything it held dear. The final showdown was upon them. The alien fleet, once so confident in their superiority, now found themselves in retreat, desperately trying to escape the relentless assault from Earth's forces. The last remnants of their fleet were battered, their morale shattered. What had started as an overwhelming invasion turned into a desperate flight, as humanity's strength and resilience proved to be too much to handle. Colonel Bonner, though injured and exhausted from countless battles, led his forces into the fray one last time. With Earth's skies finally cleared of alien ships, humanity's forces came together, unified and determined to finish what they had started. The victory that had been fought for so long, through blood, sweat, and tears, was within reach. Earth's final assault was a coordinated strike that combined everything humanity had learned from the alien invaders: laser weapons, drones, and the very technology the aliens had once thought would conquer them. The battlefield, once dominated by the alien forces, was now filled with the bright lights of Earth's counterattack. Lasers sliced through the dark expanse of space, cutting down alien ships one by one, while drones swarmed like angry hornets, disabling enemy vessels with precision and speed. Humanity's ingenuity was on full display. They used every advantage they could find. Every piece of alien technology they had reverse-engineered, every new weapon they had developed. The aliens had underestimated the human race, and now they were paying the price. Their ships were caught off guard, overwhelmed by a force they hadn't expected, a force that refused to give up, no matter the odds. Amidst the chaos of battle, Colonel Bonner knew this was the moment that would decide everything. His team had fought valiantly, but the final victory would require one last push. As the enemy fleet began to falter, Bonner realized that the only way to ensure their success was for him to make the ultimate sacrifice. With a heavy heart, he made the decision to stay behind, holding off the remaining alien soldiers while his comrades pushed forward to deliver the final blow. Bonner fought through the alien lines, his body battered, his energy almost spent, but his resolve unbroken. He knew that this was the moment that would define not only his life but the future of humanity. As he battled through the enemy ranks, taking down alien soldiers with every move, the remaining human forces continued their push forward. They knew that Bonner's sacrifice would not be in vain. The weight of their mission was clear, and they could feel it in every step they took. Earth's survival depended on their success, and nothing would stop them now. The scene was nothing short of emotional. Colonel Bonner, the man who had led Earth's resistance from the very beginning, was now fighting for the final victory. His courage and determination had inspired countless others, and now, in his final moments, he was giving everything for the cause. His death, though tragic, was a reminder of the cost of war and the sacrifices that had been made for the survival of humanity. The remaining human forces, seeing their leader's sacrifice, fought harder, their resolve solidifying as they pushed through the remaining alien forces. As the last of the alien ships were disabled, the tide of the battle turned. The remaining invaders, realizing they were no match for the united front of humanity, began to retreat. They had underestimated humanity's willpower, their ingenuity, and the power of their unity. The aliens had believed that Earth would be an easy target, but they had learned the hard way that humanity would never bow to invaders. The retreat of the alien fleet was not just a strategic withdrawal. It was a recognition that Earth was no longer an easy conquest. The aliens had been defeated, not by sheer force, but by the unrelenting spirit of humanity, by the strength that had been forged in the fires of adversity. The last alien ship, damaged and barely intact, fled into deep space, leaving Earth behind. Its engines sputtered, struggling to escape the wrath of humanity's final push. The humans watched as the ship disappeared into the vastness of space, knowing that their victory was complete. The invasion had ended, and Earth had emerged victorious. The skies cleared, once darkened by the threat of alien ships, now shining with the light of humanity's triumph. The battle had been long and hard, but humanity had won. Earth was free once again, and as the survivors looked around, they knew that the war was not just about survival. It was about the future. Earth had proven that even against the most powerful forces in the galaxy, they could stand their ground, fight back, and emerge victorious. The aliens had underestimated humanity's strength, and they would never make that mistake again. As the war came to an end, humanity began the long process of rebuilding. The world had been forever changed, but the resilience that had carried them through the darkest of times would now help them rebuild stronger than before. The scars of the invasion would never fully heal, but Earth's spirit had been unbroken. The human race had been tested in ways they had never imagined, and they had passed the test with flying colors. Colonel Bonner's legacy lived on. His name was etched into the history books as the hero who had led humanity through the darkest days of the invasion. His sacrifice had been the turning point in the war, the catalyst that had turned the tide in favor of humanity. Monuments were built in his honor, and his memory was kept alive in the hearts of every human who had fought for Earth's survival. But Bonner's true legacy was not just in the monuments or the accolades. It was in the spirit of humanity that had been ignited by his leadership. The people of Earth were stronger than ever before. They had faced the greatest threat the universe had ever known, and they had emerged victorious. The victory over the alien invaders was not just a triumph of military might, but of unity, ingenuity, and the unwavering will to protect their home. Humanity had proven to the universe that they were not to be underestimated, and that their strength came not from technology or power, but from their ability to stand together, even in the face of the greatest adversity. As the survivors celebrated their victory, the world began to rebuild. The cities that had been destroyed were slowly rebuilt, and the lives that had been lost were remembered. Earth had fought for its survival, and now it was time to rebuild for the future. The victory was not just a moment of triumph. It was a promise that humanity would always stand together, no matter the odds. The alien fleet, now scattered across the stars, would never return. Earth had proven that it could stand against any force, and the universe would never forget the lesson it had learned. Humanity had won, and they had done so with honor, courage, and a relentless determination to protect what they held dear. The alien invaders had learned that Earth was not just a planet to be conquered. It was a world worth fighting for, a world worth saving. And so, as the human race moved forward, stronger and united, they carried with them the legacy of the battle that had shaped their future. They knew that the road ahead would not always be easy, but they also knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they would always stand together. The victory over the aliens was just the beginning, and humanity would rise to whatever challenges the future held. In the wake of humanity's victory, Earth began to heal from the devastation left by the alien invasion. The cities that had been torn apart, the landscapes scorched by battle, and the ruins of once proud buildings, these all began to show signs of recovery. The world that had been divided, struggling with its own issues before the invasion, was now united as never before. People from different nations, once at odds with each other, now stood side by side. The alien threat had forced humanity to set aside its differences, forging new alliances that would prove essential in the years to come. As the reconstruction efforts took hold, humanity realized that the victory was not only about rebuilding buildings and cities, but about rebuilding trust. Nations that had once fought over resources or power were now working together, driven by a shared understanding that the survival of the human race required cooperation, not division. Earth had learned the painful lesson that the strength of one nation was no match for the combined forces of the universe. The alliance that had formed during the war with the aliens was now a cornerstone of Earth's new global order. The human military, too, had undergone a dramatic transformation. The years of conflict had sharpened their skills, but more importantly, they had learned to adapt and evolve. They had not only gained experience from fighting the aliens, but had also integrated alien technology into their own forces. Alien weapons, shields, and even advanced AI systems were now a part of Earth's arsenal. The once primitive military had become a formidable force, no longer just fighting with human-made weapons, but now empowered by technology that had once seemed far beyond their reach. The integration of alien technology was a game-changer. What had once seemed like an impossible dream, having the same weapons, ships, and technology that the invaders used, was now a reality. Earth's forces were equipped with cloaking devices, advanced drones, and energy-based weapons that had been reverse-engineered from the alien ships they had captured. The military was stronger, more advanced, and better prepared for any future threats. But despite this newfound strength, there was an underlying tension. The universe was vast, and humanity knew that the defeat of the alien fleet wasn't the end of the story. The aliens had retreated, but they were not gone for good. Earth's forces had given them a crushing defeat, but the universe was full of unknowns, and humanity had learned that the aliens were not the only force out there. The question that loomed large in the minds of Earth's leaders was, how many more alien species were out there? Were they just the first wave of something much bigger? And most importantly, how would humanity fare if another, even more powerful force came knocking on Earth's door? The unknowns were as vast as the stars themselves, and the thought of another invasion loomed like a shadow over Earth's recovery. The alien threat may have been over for now, but Earth's military knew that they could not afford to let their guard down. The universe had just shown them how fragile their existence could be, and they were determined to be prepared for whatever might come next. Earth was no longer a planet of isolated nations fighting over borders and resources. It was a planet that had just been thrust into the vast cosmic arena, and its place in that arena was still uncertain. As Earth continued its recovery, whispers of new threats began to surface. Some of the world's best minds began to search the stars, watching for any signs of another invasion. Some believed that the aliens who had attacked Earth had not been the only ones out there. There were other factions, other species, who might be watching from the far reaches of space, waiting for the right moment to strike. Earth had won the battle, but the war for survival against the unknown forces of the universe was just beginning. Scientists, engineers, and military leaders all began to work together in secret. New research programs were launched, focusing on deep space exploration, and new defense systems were developed. Earth's space stations, once used for research and exploration, were now turned into military outposts, equipped with advanced surveillance systems to monitor any unusual activity in space. The world knew that they had to be ready. The alien invasion had been a wake-up call, one that showed humanity that their planet, once considered safe and isolated, was now on the radar of powerful forces. But even as humanity prepared for the future, there was a sense of unease. The victory had come at a great cost. Lives had been lost, cities had been destroyed, and the scars of the war would take generations to heal. People mourned the loss of those who had given their lives for Earth's survival, and though the victory was sweet, it was tempered by the sadness of their sacrifice. The world had been changed forever, and even as they looked to the future, they couldn't forget the lessons of the past. As Earth's governments strengthened their alliances and the military continued to improve its readiness, the people of Earth found a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced the ultimate threat and emerged victorious, but they knew that the universe held even greater dangers. The future was uncertain, but humanity was no longer the same. The war had transformed them, giving them strength and unity, and with that strength came the determination to protect their world at all costs. However, just as Earth began to think they were safe, a troubling discovery was made. Satellite surveillance had picked up signs of alien ships in deep space, not far from Earth's orbit. It wasn't the same fleet that had attacked them, but the markings on the ships were unmistakable. Earth wasn't alone. There were other alien forces out there, watching, waiting, perhaps preparing to make their move. The camera zoomed out from Earth, revealing the darkness of space, dotted with distant stars. And in that vast expanse, a shadow loomed, a new threat, unseen but ever-present. The last scene lingered, showing alien ships in the distance, hidden in the shadows of the universe. These ships, different from the ones Earth had defeated, sat silently, as if waiting for the right moment to strike. A sense of unease hung in the air as Earth's people wondered, was this the beginning of another war? Would humanity be ready for the challenges that lay ahead? The question remained, unanswered and ominous. As the camera pulled away from the planet, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The victory over the alien invaders had been hard-won, but the true test was still to come. Earth was no longer a peaceful, isolated world. It was now part of the larger cosmic struggle, and the future was uncertain. Would humanity rise to meet whatever threats lay ahead, or would they fall under the shadow of a new, more powerful enemy? The future was unwritten, and Earth's place in it was still unknown. The story was far from over. The alien invasion had ended, but the question remained, what was next for humanity? The universe was vast, and Earth's battle for survival had only just begun.